Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relics, and today we are going to review My Hero Academia's Season 7, Episode 17, titled Hopes. This one was a pretty good one. I won't say it's like the best or anything, but it was full of some good action scenes. It was full of surprises, you can say, and overall, it was a really decent looking episode. I actually appreciated the amount of characters that were shown today. As we know, this war arc is showing us like everybody from the show or from the story in general. So it was really good. It was really good showing, and because of that, I've had a issue choosing the hero of the episode. So again, if you guys have not been here before, this is a spoilers review, so if you have not seen the episode, please go watch it. That being said, if you guys did see the episode, my hero of the episode, I'm a little conflicted, but I did choose one in the end. Yeah, just overall, I have a list. I was like, who to pick? Who to pick? Do I pick Gentle Criminal? Well, you got it last time. And what he did was technically, what he did in this episode was just kind of tagging on to what he did last time. So I don't feel like he could have deserved it. LaBrava could have deserved it. Possibly. Maybe. But at the same time, that's still connected to Gentle Criminal. Lady Nagant, perhaps. But again, she got her shot at the end of last episode. And then continuing here, technically speaking, it did not play a part into the overall episode, so that didn't, to me, that it's not strong enough. Seiji Shishikura, he saved Hawks' life and is allowing a couple of the other, heroes to move around as well. But is that really the best? I'm not sure. Entirely sure, I should say. Inasa I'm going to get trouble pronouncing this guy's name. Yoarashi. Inasa Yorashi. He's tornadoing basically all the Twices in the Gunga Villa area. And Tsukuyomi, he actually got a strong hit in against All For One, which we don't know the result of that hit because that's how the episode ended. But at the same time, it could have been, a devastating hit. I mean, the whole process hyped up the power of Dark Shadow, and apparently that may have been a really strong enough hit to really weaken him. We're not certain. Apparently, All For One does not have a super regeneration quirk like Tomura does, so we'll see what happens. However, I did come to the conclusion of one hero to be the hero of the episode, and that is Pixie Bob of the Wild Wild Pussycats. She probably got one of the most screen times as far as not just giving out orders, but at the same time, she was actually in the action at all times, and therefore I feel like she definitely deserves to be shine on this episode. And I will explain as we go, but let's get started. So the episode starts off with the Central Hospital, and this is the result after Kurogiri escapes the Central Hospital. So we see all these, we see the hospital workers stretchering wounded people into the hospital. We see Heteromorphs on the side. We do see everybody. I'm guessing that this is 100% done. The Central Hospital is secured. The Heteromorphs have ceased their fire against the hospital, and this is it. One location of the 8 completely covered by the heroes. No need to worry anymore, and it does seem like that is the case. We also see this is now the flashback for Lady Nagant's return. At the end of last episode, she had the one snipe that destroyed Tomura's hand before he can use decay on the coffin, and here we are showing her basically trying to escape the hospital. She herself is trying to get out and find Midoriya. He asked her to fight with them against All For One, and that is exactly what she is trying to do. She is trying to get out and go find him so she can help. And I thought this scene specifically, it may have flew under the radar for some people, but this is very symbolic, I could say. This is just kind of like how All Might was when he fought All for One and then was injured in his past when Night Eye predicted that he could possibly die. And this is kind of the same thing. Lady Nagant, trying to, get out there, be a hero again, trying to do what she can, is leaning against the wall with one arm, badly wounded. Doctors saying don't go. And I thought it was really special. We can see on her face she has all these scars. I mean, her body did just kind of like explode. So, to be honest, I'm actually surprised she's alive. I didn't know she would actually survive that explosion. But of course, to me, it would have been a waste of a character, a really cool character no less, if she just died right there and then against Deku. So it's nice to see that she is still alive and, is able to basically fulfill her dream. And, she was asked by Deku to help the heroes against All For One. She can still be a hero. I believe that was kind of like the words that he used. And he did ask her to take his hand and be a hero. And that's what caused the explosion inside of her to, because she betrayed All For One. And because of that, she was wounded, in the end. However, Rock Lock, so he's here in the hospital. As we know, he was at that location. He actually just approaches her and the doctor as the doctor is trying to tell her to not go. And he says that, do you really trust in Deku that much? Because if you are willing to go to him using this tracker that he has, this will tell her exactly where the coffin in the sky is. This will tell her exactly what she needs to do. And he says that if you trust in him, then he will trust in her specifically. And I was like, look at that. He actually is doing something. To be honest, he is like one of the useless pro heroes I've seen in the show so far. His quirk does not allow him to really do much. So technically, I haven't seen him do anything. Now this is him doing something, and I'm happy for it. So, and on another note, because he is here, that just truly means that the fighting in the Central Hospital area must be completely done, because why would he be here just randomly, right? So I do think he's done, and I'm happy for that. This area is secured, and to be honest, I don't really care about this area as much. Not to mention President Mike is no longer in this area, so this area kind of dies down. I do want to know what happens to Spinner, though, because I am curious to know if he, will eventually just become will he lose his gigantic form that he had, or will he just regain consciousness and just go on a rampage again? Because apparently, for example, like Dobby, we saw in the past episodes, he was defeated by Shoto, and then he comes back with Shoto's power just magically. I don't agree with that. So same thing here. I don't want to see Spinner just randomly come back and just start tearing up the city for no reason. So, in any case, I digress. So we get, Lady Nagant. She basically says that she will take this opportunity to repay Deku and, yes, live out her dream and become a hero again. And that's the kind of person she wants to be. So you guys can see on the screen, top left, as she is firing her hair arrow quirk, she is tearing up her body. Just like the doctor said, that if you go and fight, your wounds have not fully recovered. You will literally open them up. And even though it's not literal, in the matter of we can see it, we do see blood splattering from her entire body, basically. You can see the red marks. It just spews out of her body whenever she takes a shot. And we can also see in the bottom left corner that she is bleeding. The scars that she had on her face are now covered completely in red. But overall, she is trying to, accomplish what she wants to do. She is not a puppet for All For One. And on the right side of the screen, We see her younger self, her dreams, her aspirations for the future. That's when she was younger to now what she is now today. And I think that was a really good representation of how people can redeem themselves if they really put their heart and soul into the job that they're given. And this is one of those moments. And I think this also ties in well with, now that I think about it, it ties in well with what Hawks says later, and I will get back to that note as well. But as Lady Nagant is firing her her bullets, she destroyed Tomura's right hand last episode, and because he knows who she is and what she's done, he realizes that it is her. It is Lady Nagant. So as he tries to use his left hand, he screams her name, and then boom, his left hand's gone. You actually can see his hand at the end of the bullet trail on the top left screen. His hand goes flying. So now he has two handless arms that are just incapable of using his decay quirk. Now, this to me does not matter too much because he does have super regeneration, and to me, I think this is kind of weird because he should still have growth, and the fact that he's not using it is really odd. He has all his quirks back, so he should have super regeneration, and he does have growth. So right now, he should technically be able to just destroy everybody. I don't know why that is. It's not really explained very well. But to me, I think that's a little bit of a plot convenience for the heroes. But because of all the injuries Lady Nagant suffered, she fired as many bullets as she could, and the result is she is now incapacitated, as you guys can see in the top right corner. That is the last time we see her during this episode, but she has done her job, and in doing so, this allowed Deku to get a hit in. Now, he couldn't get a hit in last episode because of the decay quirk. If he tried to attack Tomura, he would have been touched, basically. So he couldn't do anything. But now that his hands are gone, Deku went in for a strike and was able to successfully not only hit Tomura into a wall, but then pushed him off the coffin. He realizes that now with his quirks back, he can use decay, and again, with super regeneration, he should be able to remake his hands no problem. At least in my opinion, he should be able to. And therefore, the entire coffin in the sky is in danger. So in doing so, he decides to take Tomura off the coffin and away from everyone, put everyone else out of harm's way. And I think that's another great hero's work right there. Great hero's mind for Deku. And then two, now we can focus more on the one-on-one battle that will decide the future of the world. So I think that's really good. We also get to see Kurogiri. He's just kind of chilling there. And there's a reason, which I don't agree with the reason. Kurogiri is frozen. He was not ordered, but he was basically asked to by Spinner to go and rescue everybody. Rescue Shigaraki specifically. And that, of course, is the reason why he was able to awaken and leave the central hospital in the first place. And so he is now conflicted for some reason. After teleporting to Himiko Toga, after teleporting to Dabi, after teleporting to All For One, all of a sudden, after he's teleporting all these twices everywhere, all of a sudden he decides, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and he doesn't realize who he is. Who should he protect? Should he protect his friends in Aizawa and Present Mike? Or should he protect Tomura? And I'm like, this is really coming out of nowhere because we already established that he doesn't identify himself as his old self. He is Kurogiri. He is Tomura's mode of transportation. He doesn't identify himself as his old self. We have already established that he doesn't remember that. So it's like, why did this suddenly reappear, considering that the reason why he's even awake is because Shigaraki's hand was on his face. I don't know. This is really weird. To me, there must be something missing from the manga that we just didn't see on the show, or it's just really huge plot convenience. I don't like it, but all of a sudden Kurogiri cannot act, and therefore he just kind of remains frozen. On another note, though, Tomura is his internal self is conflicting with All For One. So as we know, All For One implanted himself basically inside Tomura, and that's kind of what's been the forefront of the character. All For One has basically been in majority of control. And here we see that internal bleeding, not in the literal sense, is continuing. And now Tomura has awakened himself. He himself describes that he hid a part of his innocence, part of his mind, inside of his soul where he could not be found, and waiting for the opportunity to break free. And that is exactly what we are seeing in the top right corner, which is kind of creepy. Tomura is using his growth to break out of All For One's control. He is trying to retake his body. And I think, like, imagery-wise, I think that is a perfect example. I thought this was exactly, how one would feel in his situation. But he does say that he is starting to reject All For One. He does not want to give up his body to his master, and therefore he will fight for it. And I think, it's a little bit of a, give and take kind of situation. I like the thought that Tomura is trying to take back his body because, it's his. How can All For One just suddenly take control of him? It's not like he gave him a quirk that allows him to take his body. So there's really no real explanation. It's something about the experiments that he underwent that allows All For One to do this. So I'm happy for Tomura to be able to try and break out. But he does fully trying to reject All For One. We can see All For One kind of in the background of this picture here. But Tomura does break free, and I think he does take control of his body again. Now, as far as is that 100% confirmed? I don't think so. There will probably play a part where All For One does take over it again. But at this moment, this is pretty much how this episode ends this part of Tomura's story for now. He breaks out, tells Deku that he isn't All For One, and his ultimate goal, the reason why he is a villain in the first place, is to destroy everything related to the house that started everything, aka his home, his former home, with his parents and his family. Everything related to that, aka I think he doesn't like heroes because heroes are kind of the reason why that house existed. It's a little confusing. His reasoning is not really good. I get he had a bad relationship with his father, but it just really isn't a good situation. And I think, that's terrible reasoning. But of course, villains in general, in most, cases, they don't have the best reasonings for why they're villains. But it's kind of understandable and sort of relatable if you are given the same situation. So I think this is his moment to, realize that, and, hopefully Deku tries to convince him that what he's doing is in the wrong. And, that's why he keeps saying that, or Deku keeps saying that all he sees right now is a kid crying and asking for help. Is that the case right now with Tomura? I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think that is the case any longer. But I could be wrong. In any case, so that's the end of Deku and Tomura for the episode. However, we do still have the coffin in the sky to worry about. It's not like that is no longer an issue. So, Gentle Criminal from last episode, he is still continuing to hold up the coffin in the sky. Its levitation technology is suddenly busted. I'm not sure if it's because Skeptic hacked it or not, but because Skeptic is now, running away from his lair, is this allowing everyone to redo the system. I don't know. According to what I saw, it was Tomura's energy blast from when he awakened from his own, when he molted, I guess you can say, from his body. The energy blast from that is what really caused the damage. I mean, the barrier itself that's holding it in him is now gone. It's broken. So I don't know if that damaged the coffin itself so much that it can't float anymore, but apparently La Brava needs to send a program to activate the levitation, engines, which I think that's okay, but why does she have to do it, right? Why can't Hatsume Mei do it? She's inside there. Why Power Loader is there? All the people that are needed for the coffin are there. Why can't they do it? Are you telling me that La Brava is just that much smarter than Hatsume Mei? I'm not sure. It's a little weird. But Gentle Criminal is still there. He's trying to hold up the coffin as much as he can. All the while, the business course is there, and they are, documenting all the action. And Gentle's like, "You got to get out of here. Don't waste your life, watching me. Just get to safety." But they make a stand and say that this is their hero work. Without them, people like them who should have been there to record, like All Might, who should have been there to record other big hero moments, they missed it. But these guys, they're here, they're in the action, and they want to make sure that history, the biggest history, is recorded, and they're risking their lives to do so. Now, are they really risking their lives? I don't think so. I mean, they're looking from a hole in a wall. It's not like it's that much dangerous than just, standing from afar. But obviously they are in the coffin where, like I said, if Tomura uses the cake work, he would have killed them anyways. So they are in semi-danger. But they are, recording and showing off what Gentle is doing. Basically, in this case, redeeming him as well. So we've redeemed Lady Nagant. She has helped Deku. Now Gentle is doing the same thing. He is now trying to be the hero that he could not be in the past. So I love that everyone here is just being redeemed, in full. And these are characters that are very likable in the end, too. And in the bottom left corner, we see La Brava. Very, very different lovable face for Gentle Criminal. She hacks into their phones and starts live streaming his actions. And I don't know if that was like the huge intent here, but yeah, she is live streaming, and we don't get any reactions from like the world or anything, but we can only assume that the world is seeing what Gentle Criminal is doing. And who knows, we'll probably see the reactions in like the next episode, for all we know. But overall, she sends the program, and the levitation engines work again. Gentle Criminal, you can see, still under there, but his elastic bubble is renewed, and therefore the coffin in the sky is absolutely safe. Everyone's happy here. Awesome. And that is how the half of the episode ends, with these, with the coffin in the sky saved, Deku off of it, and the big battle ready to happen whenever we see fit. So next up, so we're not done. I do apologize. I almost forgot. Twice is actually here as well. So we know that Toga is multiplying with Twice's quirk, set at Man's Parade, and Kurogiri was able to allow Twice to come through. Now, I am curious though, because Kurogiri is in a conflicted state right now. Is he still teleporting some of these guys here, or are they just multiplying on their own here? Now we see that right dead in center that one is falling, but he is multiplying and summoning another one. Is that enough, or is Kurogiri still acting? I don't think he is. I think he's done. But all the Twices in this area are causing the people to fall off. Which is kind of funny because they did take them into, they pinned them down, Phantom Thief, Eraserhead, and Manual. But all of a sudden, Eraserhead is now being pushed off. President Mike is also falling with him. I don't know if that was because he's trying to save him, but yeah, Eraserhead is now falling off the coffin's, what's it called? I forget. Command Center, that's what it was called. And, he's falling to the ocean. And because of that, Denki is there. He's on the outside. All these Twices preventing him from going through, which is funny because, like, why are the Twices not trying to kill them? I don't know. They obviously have the numbers and upper hand to do it, but the Twices are not killers right now. So they're just holding Denki, and he's getting upset. He's trying to rescue his senseis, and because he can't, he sees them falling. He screams and lets out an energy blast of electricity. But thankfully, something else happens. Oh look, Kurogiri appears, and he causes a warp gate. Now we see, obviously, there's still some Twices going through with them, but in Denki's eyes, he thinks that Kurogiri saved them. Now, we don't know what happens to them, because in the end, they do disappear. They don't reappear anywhere else. And so, for all we know, as Mandalay actually comes and says, Kurogiri could have warped them to just take Eraserhead away from the battlefield to help Tomura, right? But at this moment right now, Tomura is free. He is able to use his quirks, so this doesn't really matter. We'll see what happens in the future, but Denki does believe that Kurogiri saved their lives, and is basically maybe turning good. Who knows? Like I said, I think it's a little too much of a plot convenience, but at the same time, we do know that their friend is in there somewhere at a possibility. Just at this moment, probably not the best time. I don't think it was, I don't think it was granted, for this episode. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. We also get to see Yu. She gets to actually show off her quirk. She is on the sideline. You guys can see her on the very far left. She is, not very present on the screen, but she is firing her quirk, electric quirk, and it is like an arrow. So I kind of zoomed in again a little bit. We can see the yellow from her electricity. It's forming like a bow, and she is firing electric arrows. So I think that's kind of cool because we never got to see this in the past. And I was wondering, like, how is she, an electric user? And this is why, because she can conduct electricity from her, or using her quirk, and basically create arrows. So that's kind of cool. We get to see a very small snippet of what she's able to do, which is nice. Otherwise, that's pretty much all we see of these guys here. We can see that because of Denki, I think, he destroyed most of the Twices. I mean, there's a pile of mud next to them, and Phantom Thief is also safe. So that's all good. For all we know, this could be the end of this location as well. And then the big fight with Deku is just all that matters. But Mandalay does relay that, hopefully Eraserhead is safe, and that everyone else is doing their part still. And they have to trust them. They have to trust in themselves, in each other, and everyone else that is working in this war. Trust that everyone else can do their part. Because as long as everyone does their part, that's what matters, and that's how they're going to get through this war. And then that's how this area finally ends. So I do apologize. But it's not over. Half the episode now. Intermission break. We go back to the Gunga Villa site. And we see here Twice is still rampaging across the land. This is actually where it first began, right? After Toga left the other location, she came here. And so we can see dead center of the screen, Pixie Bob is there, and she too is being overwhelmed. Now it's kind of funny because she's being overwhelmed here, right? This is where we see that all the heroes are just being overwhelmed by the sad man's parade. Not much that they can do, and again, a little bit of plot convenience. I mean, there's so many Twices, and we saw that even Pixie Bob's mud creating quirk isn't able to handle all the Twices. So now that she's just completely surrounded, how does she escape the situation? Never shows it on screen, but she just does. And I think that's a little too convenient, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to see that she is taking charge. As far as the ground situation is concerned, other heroes like Kamui, he's there too, but it does seem like Pixie Bob is the one in charge of the heroes on the ground. At least in my eyes. She's seen the most screen time in that regard, so that's why I feel like she is the leader on the ground. In the air, Hawks is chasing All For One. All For One is trying to get away and get to Tomura. He needs to get to him to not only help him survive, but I guess there might be a way for him to merge into one being right now, because I guess their consciousnesses are combined. So All For One knows that Tomura is trying to break free of his control, perhaps, and therefore he needs to get over there and somehow, remedy that. However, Hawks is trying to prevent him from doing so, and therefore will continue to strike him whenever he gets the chance. But as we know, All For One used Eri-chan's quirk with that capsule, and it is reversing his life. So he is getting younger, but he is also getting stronger. So what that means is he's also able to do a lot more stuff. And in doing so, he says Hawks ran into his trap, and we actually see Hawks die. I honestly didn't see this coming, and the moment it happened, like as soon as All For One says that the winds are actually blowing in my way, and he turns around and twists his arm, I was like, oh no. And instantly Hawks is disintegrated just like that. And we see the reaction from Tsukuyomi, who is also following them in the air, but he's not dead. And this scene, I thought this was a little cringe, just a little bit. It was an illusion. And this Hawks is like, oh man, that hurt. Don't worry, I'm okay. And then that really confuses Tsukuyomi. They had to put this in. He's like, oh, what the hell was that? And I was like, yeah, I couldn't pass this up. I had to put this picture in. It's kind of funny. But to me, at the same time, that was really kind of unnecessary. As we know, someone does have the power to cause illusions, and there she is, Cammy, from Shiketsu High. She makes an appearance riding a finger, which is very odd. I thought that was really weird, but she does show up, and she actually caused an illusion for Hawks to be disintegrated like that. And basically, she herself didn't save his life, but she did fool All For One, thinking that it was Hawks and he had killed him. So she fooled everyone, that's for sure. But Hawks was saved from another finger, by the way, very creepy looking. But Shiketsu High has made their appearance, and they are here now. I kind of had a feeling this would happen, because we already know that the Ketsubutsu Academy High School had showed up. They were the ones who went and basically are going to attack and capture Skeptic from last episode. So, because they're involved, surely these guys will be involved. Because if you're showing one school, you might as well show the other. And again, this is a fight for the future. If these guys don't fight, then what are they doing? They're going to side with the villains? No, they're working to be pro-heroes. And that is exactly what we get to see here. We get to see all the faces that we saw from the Shiketsu High School. So I will list them right here. We can see top Cammy. She's the one who caused the illusion for Hawks to be saved. And then Seiji Shishikura, who could have been a hero of the episode because he did save Hawk's life. He is there. He's the one with the fingers and stuff. You guys can see it on the screen. His arms are missing, and they are being used to basically move around. I believe he himself is riding one of his fingers, I guess, which is kind of creepy. It's really weird. I think it's really weird. Just imagine if you saw that in real life. That is just weird. I would think that's plainly disgusting. And then, of course, we see basically their strongest I guess, hero for the school, Inasa Yoarashi. So he's the one who's causing all of these tornadoes on the screen to happen. He is the wind controller, and he is basically tornadoing all of the Sad Man's Parade. Now, is this affecting heroes? I don't think it is. Now, it could. I think it should a little bit, just because it's in the area. But at the same time, he is a very strong wind user, so I do think he does have control over what he's doing. And then, of course, we see their other classmate as well. This is Mora Nagamasa, aka Chui. Wow, how original, right? He is there as well as the rest of the Shiketsu, I don't know, troops? I don't know how to describe what I'm seeing here, but there are other Shiketsu high school people there, some with guns and some with using their quirks. These obviously, again, not necessarily pro heroes, but generic heroes nonetheless. We don't, they're all dressed up in their outfits, but they do seem to have quirks. They do have quirks and are probably able to fight. So therefore, more quirk users for the heroes, and that's not good for the villains. But the pro heroes that are already there, they take a breather. Again, how does Pixie Bob escape the tornado? The overwhelming numbers of Twice. You're telling me all the wind just happened to blow them away magically? A little unrealistic, but she's fine. The other heroes are fine, and they see that the Shiketsu High School is coming to help as reinforcements, and this inspires her and the rest of the heroes to push back, basically striking back, and this is their moment of opportunity. Just like how we saw with the PLF members from the Central Hospital when Spinner denied Tentacle's words and says that you've been discriminated against. Push forward to the hospital and break in. The members there got a morale boost, and that is exactly what's happening here with Pixie Bob. I think is now that Shiketsu High is there as reinforcements, and they are doing a fantastic job. I think this also inspires her and the other heroes to fight back again and use all of their energy. Lay their lives on the line and make sure that All For One cannot escape, as well as defeat the Sad Man's Parade that's going on here. And so, in doing so, we see not just her from the bottom, but the Shiketsu High is fighting back, and we can see the tornadoes of Twice's just being destroyed. Now, granted, Dobby's flames are still there. We can see them in the backgrounds, the blue and everything. The forest is on fire, so I don't know how this will play a part, but they wanted to make sure that this is still relevant. And as far as Dobby and Endeavor is concerned, look like they were running away. So where they're going, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully in the next episode we'll see. But yeah. We also get a segment of the police HQ, and remember, All Might is no longer here. He did leave. We saw that in the last episode as well. So where All Might is going, we don't know yet. I'm assuming he's going to go to Deku, obviously, but he is no longer here. And so Tsukachi is taking control, and he says that we didn't actually call for Shiketsu High to show up. They showed up on their own, which is amazing, because that means, again, there are still some heroes that are not in the action yet. And to be honest, I can't think of anyone else that would just suddenly show up at this point. Again, I've been shocked already so far. Like Lady Nagant coming back, that was a big shocker as well. So in Gentle Criminal, that was a big shocker as well. So I could still be surprised at some people coming back. But I think this might be it. I think this might be the end of heroes showing up. Except for like Class 1A and Class 1B characters. But we'll see. But All For One is now going to strike back. He realizes he can't escape easily. And so from his back, he grows these weird I don't even know what to call these, to be honest. These I don't even know, antenna spiky things that have energy balls on the tips of them. And he tells himself, well, he not tells himself, but he tells us, the audience, that he may need to start stealing quirks. And how does this play a part into growing this on his back? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But he does release an energy blast that, is now starting to attack the users on the ground. And this in turn is causing all the armor, the barrier, and the shielding quirk users to defend against this blast. Now, I don't think this is. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack for a second. This is such a devastating blast that some of those users are having trouble just defending against it. But I didn't get pictures for all of them either, so I did not going to show it on screen. But we do see that there are users who are trying to block all of these attacks. And because of the extension of this blast, I think it is also destroying some of the Twices as well. Like, he doesn't care, right? All for One doesn't care about Toga or Twice, so it doesn't really matter. So I think in a matter of speaking, this could be helping the heroes. But he says that, this is the true power of destruction. You guys of this generation have no idea what you are up against. And we get this little flashback segment of the 5th user, Daigoro Banjo. Yes, and this is the era which he was in, and the city was destroyed, wherever he is, that is. And, this is true destruction. This is the nightmare that All For One had given the world before. And so he's saying that, none of you guys understand what you're truly getting into. However, Yorarashi, he stands up, using his wind quirk, obviously going into the air. He says he doesn't care. He doesn't care about what All For One is saying. He doesn't care what he's doing. Because, yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't alive. But we learn about that stuff in contemporary history. So he's like, okay, yeah, you're a big baddie in the past, but, that's okay. I didn't know who you were. I learned about you in history, and, what does that matter? So it's like kind of funny, but this also segues into what I mentioned before, and what Hawk says. One for all is the crystallization of power spun together by people's hearts. It is not just one person's power, and it's not a combination of that one person having all these powers, but one for all is like a combination of everyone working together and coming together to fight for a common cause. And I thought this was well said by Hawks. It definitely ties into the beginning of the episode where we saw Gentle Criminal redeeming himself, trying to be a hero, which he was not able to do in his past. Same thing for Lady Nagant. She was a hero, turned bad, and now she got the chance to redeem herself. So again, I think all these things coming together, and then especially with these younger generation of heroes who do seem to be a lot more powerful than the pro heroes of today, they are now coming up and being basically the next generation of heroes that the world needs them to be. And this power is not just an army of heroes. It's like inspiring. It's very it's power in numbers, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. To me, it's very symbolic of what the quirks themselves represent in the show. It's like really expansive. It's not just superpowers. It's a gift, and all these gifts are coming together to work for a common cause that will change the world. I don't know. It's hard to explain how I feel about this, but I just thought this was a really cool moment. And then, of course, we get an inspiration moment right here where I thought it was Kurogiri showing up, but it was actually Dark Shadow. This is Dark Shadow coming up behind All For One in a gigantic form, and we get some insight into how this is possible. Dark Shadow is now more powerful because of the fact that All For One has caused a, basically not a thunderstorm, but a storm to brew in the sky. There's dark clouds. We can see from the background of all the scenes in this episode. There's dark clouds everywhere. It is raining, and that blocks out the sun, so Dark Shadow gets stronger in the dark. And then B, he has been culminating his energy a little bit thanks to Pixie Bob, who, while in the mix of fighting, was covering Tsukuyomi in mud, a mud ball, and basically growing Dark Shadow's power in the dark. So again, this is another reason why I also picked Pixie Bob, not just because she is leading the ground troops. Not only did she get a lot of screen time and is causing a lot of havoc on the ground, but she did help Tsukuyomi build up this power that allowed him to fight All For One. And we get to see his final attack, Black Abyss, Light of Balder. And this one massive Dark Shadow smashed through All For One's barrier quirk and crushed him into the ground. Now, this is how the episode, quote-unquote, ends, because they play the ending credits right after this. But I don't think, to be honest, the way the show has been going, I don't think this did any damage to him. I'll be honest. I think this was just a really cool way to end the episode, and then just, it's going to segue into, oh, you try to kill me. Well, too bad. I'm alive. Because he, again, like I said, because of Eri-chan's quirk, he should be able to recover no problem, and this shouldn't be able to stop him at all. So, unfortunately for Tsukuyomi and Dark Shadow, I think this was actually just a cool moment for them, and it was just wasted. However, like I said, this is where the episode ended and played the ending credits, but then we got a decently long after credit scene where the three girls on the ground are trying to look for the real Himiko Toga. That's Uravity, Froppy, and Earphone Jack. Now, what they're going to be doing, I don't really know. But they are just kind of running around. We don't see the Twices in the background here, but they are there. I mean, they literally look around to their left or right, and the Sad Man's Parade's still going. So, it's not like it's over and they're dead. But these three are running somewhere, don't know where, but they are discussing how by Uravity's confirmation, Toga can use quirks of people she drank the blood of if she truly likes them. And Uravity is one of those characters. As we know, Toga does like her a lot, and she was able to use her quirk when she was in danger with the PLF, army. But when she tried to make extra doubles of, the other villains, she couldn't use their quirks. Specifically, All For One and Tomura, she can't use their quirks. I think she used Dobby's once, though, during the POF arc. I think she did use his flames a little bit, if I recall correctly, but she can't now. She does say that she cannot use their effects now, and therefore, she is kind of alone. She can only use Twice's, multiplying quirk. However, oh, you know what? I was wrong. She did not actually use Dobby because she wasn't Twice. Twice himself was able to use Dobby's quirk in the past because he, I don't know if that applies, but he can multiply and use the user's quirks. Toga cannot. Her quirk is copying by drinking the blood of those users. And in extension, using Twice's quirk, she thinks that she should be able to use his quirk to do what she needs to do with other doubles. And so that is not the case. And then, of course, Sensitive Eyes here. We get Toga naked here, which is kind of funny because I'm like, what? Like, this is kind of funny. At the same time, I'm like, this is Japanese art. I'm not one to discriminate against, nudity in shows. I think it's art in itself. Just show it. And then, of course, we don't. But in case, this is like internal Toga here. She's kind of talking to herself, wondering why is she not able to use the quirks of her fellow villains? Why is she not able to, basically use their powers even more? And she's starting to drive herself insane. She's kind of like questioning what is her limits? What is she able to do? And it's really driving her crazy because she realizes that she can't do anything else except try to multiply even more and more with Twice's quirk. And how this will help her defeat the heroes, she doesn't really know. All she knows is that she needs to eliminate the heroes, specifically Hawks, and get revenge. Now, this is where we see the last scene. We see all the Twices. Of course, she's still multiplying. They're still going. But it's like kind of a moment of, where's Waldo? That's kind of the thing that we left off on with Gravity. She's trying to look for Toga. And we clearly see there is one Twice that is just confused. And that is the one kind of in the middle. And basically all the Twices disappear. And the last scene is, why can't I become Jin? AKA, why can't I become Twice? Why can't I create doubles that are able to use other people's quirks, even though I like them a lot? And this was an interesting finish to the episode because I didn't think this would have been an issue last episode. To be honest, it just kind of like came up. So I personally don't know. I don't agree with some of the things that happen here. A lot of plot conveniences, to be honest. But an overall really good episode, showing a lot of action and showing a lot of characters coming back, as well as redemptions and, quirks, showing off what quirks are able to do. I thought it was overall a decent episode. So overall rating wise, I go 6. It was good. It was above average, I can say. Maybe even a 7, but I'll go stick with a 6 for now. And overall, it's just because, a lot of things happened and plot conveniences happened here and there. Just a little bit of inconsistency as far as what we know and what we've seen in the past. So 6 is overall is good and above average. So I'll take that. But overall, I did enjoy the episode. I like Pixie Bob. I think she is a great character. I think all the Wild Wild Pussycats are great characters, and I'm happy that Ragdoll is even involved as well. She's working with the police. Now, what she is doing, we have yet to see what that is, because ever since the meeting, to devise the plan to split up the villains, we have not seen Ragdoll, so we don't know where she is right now. Nor do we know where that cat officer is either. So they're still yet to be involved. I just realized, like I said earlier, who knows who else is going to be coming back? Well, Ragdoll is one of those characters we have not seen in the war so far. So we haven't seen her in the police HQ. She must be somewhere else. Where that is, we don't know. So we'll find out. And then, of course, we know that Mandalay is working with the Coffin in the Sky. But I think it's cool that the three are working again. Now, where Tiger is, again, we don't know. So we'll probably soon find out. He is probably with Ragdoll as like a bodyguard, perhaps. But we'll see. We will see what happens. But as far as this episode is concerned, it's another good one. And Pixie Bob deserves to be hero of the episode. She did a lot of work compared to everyone, in the entire episode. I guess the next closest, if I had to really pick one, it would be Inasa Yoarashi, because he did tornado all those Twices, and what is that doing? Maybe it's destroying them and creating mud, and in turn that mud is then going to Pixie Bob, perhaps. I don't know. We don't really get a clear idea what's happening there, but he is kind of destroying the parade. He definitely could have been hero of the episode next. Very conflicted about it. Who knows? Maybe I'll decide to give both of them. I have a list of the ratings as well as the heroes of the episode for each episode. So maybe I'll give it to him too. I'll think about it. Let me know in the comment section if you guys think he should be the hero of the episode. Or if you guys have someone else who should be the hero of the episode, let me know in the comment section down below. But otherwise, that's it for this one. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned for next week for the next episode, episode 18. I really think that next episode is going to be either a really good one, an action-packed episode, or it's going to be a little bit more story-driven. Probably going to give us a little bit of background. Probably going to show the Shiketsu High School and how they prepared for this war. Maybe even the Ketsubutsu Academy as well. We will see. But I will not be surprised if we go back to Skeptic and what's happening with him. Maybe even finish the fight at the Gunga Villa. Maybe even a little small segment of what's happening with the rest of the Coffin in the Sky. Like I said, anything can happen. A lot of jumping around. So we'll see. Heck, we don't even know what's happening with Davi and Endeavor. So, there's a lot of options here. And again, that's kind of one of the reasons, again, in the earlier episodes why I deducted points. I just don't want to see too many things happening all at the same time, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, I wanted to see the fight with, at the Gigantomachia location. Some of the heroes there I actually like. And I want to know what happens with Pinky and that one villain. Like, does she get her revenge for Midnight? I wanted to know. They showed that, and then, that's it. They never go back to it. So I'm a little disappointed in that. And yet they went to the Central Hospital, in a small segment in that same episode. But they actually did focus on that location. So I want to know what's happening at the other locations. But at the same time, I'm glad that they're not, because it'd just be too much information out there. But they did show it, so they have to show us now. Because now time is literally flowing from when that happened. Todoroki is no longer, he no longer beat Dabi at this point. Dabi's now out here causing havoc at the Gunga Villa site. So what is happening back at the communal ward? What is happening back at the Gigantomachia location? We don't know. So hopefully we do get some information on that. But that's it for this episode. That's it for now. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. But for now, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Have a great week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.